Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm so glad you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. Real quick, before I get started, this is something I just kind of thought of and thought I'd tell you. If you've been watching me a while, you might know that I am currently sitting on the floor, and my husband and I just signed a lease on a new apartment that's gonna have a second bedroom that I will be able to sit in a chair when I film. So I know some of you were, a little concerned about the state of my spine, and now you can rest assured that things will be better going forward. That said, at any given time, I usually have anywhere from like 2 to 5 video topics that I'm gathering information for and like starting to write scripts, seeing where they go. But this is definitely not a subject that I had planned, and here we are, just a few days after things happened. So if you're on Threads and in the book community over there, you likely already know by the thumbnail what today's topic is. But this is the case of Allie Rose Co., a small business that trademarked an incredibly common phrase in the bookish space and managed to destroy her goodwill in the community in a single evening. Sorry, had to adjust a little bit. So let's start here. This is from her website. Hi, I'm Allie. So nice to meet you. I'm Allie, I'm 26, and I'm the owner of Allie Rose Co. I graduated college with a BFA in graphic design from Salisbury University. It's okay that you probably haven't heard of it. In 2020. In March of 2020, I was sent home from my senior year due to COVID and started to make stickers of my doodles for fun. To make a long and very cringy story short, I posted a tutorial on TikTok explaining how I made the stickers. It blew up. Allie Rose Co., Allie Rose Designs at the time, was born, and the rest is history. ARC started from the ground up out of my childhood bedroom, where it stayed until August of 2024 when I packed up my bags and bookmarks and moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, a beach town where I knew no one. Living alone at the beach has breathed a fresh breath of air into this business in a way I never knew was possible. And it's all thanks to you. My gratitude for this business and customers / followers / viewers / you is beyond words. There's no me without you. Thank you for following along with me. All my love, always, always, always. So that is a nice little story and a business that I would have been happy to support. So where did it go wrong? Well, on June 2nd, she posted this to her stories. This is celebratory, of course, of course, of course. But I also want to, very gently, with peace and love, say that I officially have the trademark for Hot Girls Read in the following categories: bookmarks, stickers, notebook covers / book covers, notepads, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hooded sweatshirts. I've seen Hot Girls Read on lots of items from other businesses that follow me, so if that is you, please remove these listings from your site as soon as possible. With love. Gonna unpack that in a minute, but there were other stories that I also want to show you. This is her, a reel of her updating her bio on Instagram, taking away where it says making comfy cute and adding Hot Girls Read TM. And then it says the most expensive 2 letters of all time. Next, we have a story that she posted right after this. I was looking for part-time jobs in secret at the time I first launched Hot Girls Read because I didn't think business was turning around. LOL, but actually was not funny at all at the time. Hot Girls Read is how I was able to continue to get new items in stock, and on a bigger scale, how I was able to move to Wilm and grow my business. It sounds like a silly little phrase to most, but it's literally my lifeline, and I love her to death. I love my hot girls who read and make reading fun. I didn't love reading growing up, and now it's my favorite hobby and favorite part of my job. Grateful in a major way. Taking a trip down memory lane to these 2 beauties that changed my life, and it appears to just be a sweatshirt that says Hot Girls Read. And these 3 bookmarks that truthfully barely sold the night I dropped them. I was bummed, so took them to TikTok, and turns out there were a lot of hot girls over there. Still a bestseller to this day, which is nuts. And again, so there's some bookmarks that say Hot Girls Read on them. Then I went nuts. Another photo of a bunch of shirts that just say Hot Girls Read. A different take on bookmarks. I think I was the only one who liked these, and I have no regrets. Some little, I guess they're magnetic bookmarks, I'm not sure, but they say Hot Girls Read. I know you're shocked. Another one, this was during the worst couple months of my life, and I could not think of one new design to save my life, and vividly remember thinking, thank God I can always count on hot girls read. Ugh. Okay, you get the point. I'm gonna put that first story back on the screen while I talk about it. So Allie decided, since she uses hot girls read on so many of her items, like nearly all of them, that she wanted to trademark the phrase. The problem is that people have been printing this on stuff for years, and while I don't have an actual number, I'd be willing to say hundreds of shops have used it. So now that the application has been approved, Allie's asking very gently with peace and love for other businesses to take down their listings. So this really rubbed people the wrong way, including me. She didn't start leaning into bookish products for her business until 2023, and that phrase was being used long before that. I also don't think this is a phrase that anyone can say they invented or used first, because it's literally made up of 3 extremely common words. Remember when we were all taking hot girl walks, and then remember the 2019 song by Megan Thee Stallion, Hot Girl Summer? And when she coined the phrase hot girl shit? I also think it's worth mentioning that the concept of being a hot girl was popularized by Megan, a Black woman. And, now Megan does hold the trademark to Hot Girl Summer, but that's because it actually is something she came up with and that people associate with her. So there's an example of how it actually, works. This is from an article. In an interview with Allure, Megan shared her reasoning behind trademarking the Hot Girl Summer phrase, dominating marketing campaigns in 2019. I really didn't even know that it was going to catch on how it did. It was just me talking shit, telling everybody it was going to be me for the summer, and they should be them too, as free as they can be. When I saw Wendy's and Forever 21 saying, hey, are you having a hot girl summer? I was like, hell no, Forever 21, you're going to have to pay me, Megan said. But I just wanted to get it trademarked because it's me. It's my thing. And that's exactly what a trademark is responsibly used for. I don't know that anyone cares enough about having hot girls read on a shirt enough to buy it from her versus not buying it at all. If someone is looking at a bookish shop, they're not going to see that there is no shirt that says hot girls read and be like, where can I find one of those? How do I seek this out? I feel like they would just not care that much. And then the fact that she made this loud and proud story, essentially, but, with love, of course, telling people to take their shit down because it's only hers now, says a lot about her and her reasoning behind doing it. And so this is the in-feed post announcing it. That is now gone. Hot Girls Read is officially ours. 3-ish years ago, after I started reading more consistently and finally started to love to read, I put Hot Girls Read on some bookmarks and crews, and the rest is freaking history. In the least corny way possible, that little phrase changed my life and changed the entire course of my business in a way I never saw coming. I love that because of those 3 words, a lot of you found me, and I love talking about books with you. This trademark is for the freaking girls. It's only right to celebrate with a big old Hot Girls Read drop. The biggest mock neck drop ever is coming next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'd love to celebrate with you because this is thanks to you. And before it was deleted, we can notice that the comments were turned off. Now, it's very weird that she's claiming to do this for the girls, because what does that even mean? While I know that she does have some ride or die customers, which we will talk more about later, why would anyone care about her holding the trademark? Because she was always allowed to make merch with Hot Girls Read on it. No one was trying to stop her. So this just doesn't make any sense to me. I do want to be clear that basically everything I know about copyrights and trademarks has been learned within the past week between this and the Patagonia situation. So while I always do my best to get the facts completely accurate, there's a chance that I maybe misunderstood something while I was reading about it. Now, when I say this blew up quickly, I'm talking a matter of hours, maybe even minutes, because from the time I took my initial screenshots on the first post that I saw to the time that I reloaded my homepage, quite literally, my entire Threads feed was talking about it. The thread I initially saw was this one by Hockey Smut Book Club. If you're wondering who trademarked one of the most common and uninclusive terms in the book industry, it's Allie Rosecoat. Just keep in mind who you're supporting. What a way to harm so many small businesses just to be selfish. Girls, girls, greater than hot girls. We'll also be sending this to the ABA, American Booksellers Association, who is fighting other BS like this for booksellers. And this lovely human double hockey sticks saved me some time by looking up the trademark, and yeah, it's very much real and in effect. You can see here it's live registered, and the goods and services it covers is bookmarks, stickers, book covers, notebook covers, stickers. I don't know why it repeats that stuff, but either way, a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. Sweatshirts, graphic tees, hooded sweatshirts. That's why we are all perplexed by it, not to mention all the unlicensed stuff she's selling on her site. And then Double Hockey Stick said the only way she would be able to get this is to say that it's part of her brand slogan. That's it. It would have to be on her social media website somewhere in the past 3 years for her to do this legally. I'm shocked, honestly. And obviously, she didn't tell anyone she was doing it, so no one challenged it. And of course, she deleted all of these unlicensed listings on her website once people started mentioning it, but screenshots are forever. In this one, you can see she's got HR Heated Rivalry Show version bookmark. Here's the book version bookmark. Over here we have Throne of Glass color swatch bookmark. And again, she might have scrubbed the website, but even more live on over on her Instagram. This one is A Court of Thorns and Roses. And it's like, you can see it, that's like written out right there. It's not even like subtle. This one is a whole bunch of Abby Jimenez books. This is actually her and I guess her friend like dressed up in costumes. One is like Freedom McFadden books and the other is Colleen Hoover books. And that's really funny because those are like two of the authors that I am the most bothered and irritated by. And then here's an Eras Tour one with all of Taylor's albums up to when this was posted in 2023. It's just like, really? This style was like clearly her bread and butter, fully using other people's intellectual property, yet she has the audacity to think trademarking an extremely common phrase is cool. She really didn't think this through in the slightest. So here's another funny thing from a comment on her announcement post before she turned off commenting. Mill Pickle said, "Allie, I bought a Corona bottle sticker off you during the beginning of lockdown and have watched this journey unfold before you. I'm so happy for you and looking forward to where you take this." And another person said, "Same." So yeah, she made a sticker of a Corona bottle and sold it, yet is now planning to come after small businesses using a 3-word phrase that 0 people associate with her shop. And I'm not out here going to bat for Corona, AB, and Bev, but let's be real. The hypocrisy here is embarrassing. So let's take a look at more of what people were saying on Threads. But what about sticker companies that sell this already? Who the F thinks they can trademark something that has been widely used for some time? It's like me trying to trademark Hot Girl Summer, already done, or It's Raining Cats and Dogs. I don't know, but it is disgusting. I'm not even following her, but I blocked her janky, non-creative ass. And someone else said, right, I told my sister it's equivalent to trademarking happy birthday. It's a simple, commonly used sentence. Another user says, okay, I just checked, and in her stories, she says she started reading consistently and loving reading only 3 years ago, and the phrase changed her life. What? The audacity is just too much. And Peachtree Design Shop said, when a small business trademarks a phrase hot girls read and is already going after them, yet she's still selling a ton of unlicensed merchandise for ACOTAR, Taylor Swift, Heated Rivalry, also Pantone. I'm all for trademarking, but this is some sort of bullshit. The math ain't mathin'. And again, she only took those bookmarks off her website once people started talking about it. So it's no secret that the book community on Threads and Instagram is perhaps a little petty. And when it was discovered that Allie did not bother to trademark her business name, a GoFundMe was created to get it trademarked by not her. Because trademarking a common phrase and screwing over small bookish businesses, but not trademarking your own company name is crazy work, using the same categories she did for Hot Girls Read, it's $350 per category. It'll be around $700 to trademark Allie Rose Co. I started the paperwork. All that needs to be done is pay. And then over on this actual GoFundMe, it says Allie Rose Co. has trademarked the common phrase of Hot Girls Read, which will screw over smaller businesses and creators for no good reason. Allie Rose Co. did not invent this phrase. She also did not trademark her business name. So here we are. Let's support small businesses in the book community. I put in every item that she listed for the trademark of Hot Girls Read, which is in 2 different categories. The trademark categories cost $350 each, which brings us to a total of $700 to trademark Ally Rose Co. And, you know, when I took this screenshot, they had raised $388, but this actually ended up raising over $2,000.
I did want to throw in here that the person that made the GoFundMe did say that any leftover funds are going to be donated to the Trevor Project, so that's cool.
Is this kind of extreme? Maybe, but the childish side of me says, well, she started it, so I plead the fifth. I'm not saying anything about this anymore. So I became aware of a Facebook group called Trademark Watchdogs Stop Frivolous Trademarks mostly because of Patagonia, and then this was very convenient. And as I now have an actual interest in this stuff, I joined. So someone made this post: if anyone else makes bookish accessories and goods, Hot Girls Read has been trademarked, and the owner posted this. I removed my bookmarks. I am shocked because I feel as if this phrase has been around for a while. I'll get into some more of the details in a bit, but if you do have a small business and use this saying, don't delete your listings. Not yet. So someone replied, I specifically remember seeing Hot Girls Read in summer 2021. I bought a shirt with that saying in 2021, so it definitely has been around for a while. Gosh, this sucks for all us bookish merch sellers. I might have one, gotta check. PopSocket may have something to say about it. And then that person posts a screenshot to a PopSocket link that says Hot Girls Read. I decided to unfollow her over this. I know that it makes no difference to her, but her trademarking this phrase rubbed me the wrong way, and I didn't want to continue consuming her content. It's not at all unique to her or something she came up with, and I really can't stand the USPTO lets stuff like this fly. I feel like anyone in their late 30s and late 40s that used Pinterest when it first came out like 15 years ago will remember seeing this phrase on all kinds of bookmarks, clothing, homemade mugs, prints, etc. It can also be said that she has lost over 1,000 followers on Instagram within the past 2 days. I don't know exactly how much she started with, but I have a screenshot that says like 64 point something. And then looking just a few minutes ago, she had 63,000. So people are not happy. Someone replied, good point. I wish they'd check if something was widely used before approving. Being widely used means someone is trademarking another person's copyright. And if that's her niche, surely that's a bit rude. She obviously knew it was used by others based on asking them to take it down. Yep. So yeah, she knew all right. Now, as this started popping off and she started getting this crazy backlash, she put this on her story, doubling down on her actions, which honestly did not surprise me at all. I've seen and read a lot of people's anger about me trademarking Hot Girls Read, so I want to chat about it and clear some things up the best I can. I filed this trademark to protect my products from others copying it, which is common to do when selling products. I was advised to trademark it when it initially started to gain traction from the bookmarks and sweatshirts in 2023. At that time, I didn't see anyone with apparel or bookmarks that said Hot Girls Read, although I'm not at all denying that they existed. Does she really think that like she was the first one to do this? Because that's weird. Since the trademark went through, I haven't come after any small businesses / bookstores that sell products saying Hot Girls Read, asking them to take anything down directly. I did post a story outlining the categories I have the trademark in, giving a heads up that those items are included, and I asked if you have Hot Girls Read items in those categories to take them down from your site. There have been businesses that copied my work in its entirety, and the message was for them, although I see why it seemed like it came from a place of aggression or malice towards other small businesses that I was not referring to. My message wasn't clear, and I don't like the way it sounded. The goal is and was not meant to come after small businesses. I don't intend to do that whatsoever. This trademark was simply to protect myself. So what I want to know is, if she hasn't come after any small businesses for using this and says she won't, why did she even file it? And copying her work in its entirety, she just has some words on some merch. I don't understand who she thinks she needs protection from. Something a lot of people have pointed out is that in order to actually stop people from making items with Hot Girls Read on them, she has to send a cease and desist, and if that doesn't work, sue for infringement with the courts. This is from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website. What will happen if someone sues me for trademark infringement? A trademark owner who believes its mark is being infringed may file a civil action, i.e. a lawsuit, in either state court or federal court for trademark infringement, depending on the circumstances. However, in most cases, trademark owners choose to sue for infringement in federal court. Even when a plaintiff chooses state court, it may be possible for the defendant to have the case removed to federal court. If the trademark owner is able to prove infringement, available remedies may include the following: a court order that the defendant stop using the accused mark, an order requiring the destruction or forfeiture of infringing articles, monetary relief including defendant's profits, any damages sustained by the plaintiff, and the costs of the action, and an order that the defendant in certain cases pay the plaintiff's attorney's fees. Conversely, a court may find instead that 1. You are not infringing the trademark, 2. A defense bars the plaintiff's claims, or 3. Other reasons why the trademark owner is not entitled to prevail. So it's totally on her to enforce it, and that's going to be very expensive. Again, I really don't get why she thought this was necessary, and I don't really understand why it was approved at all. So the dissenting opinions on this whole thing have been few and far between, at least as far as I've seen, but there have definitely been some. Here is one I saw from Homebody Book Club on Instagram. Just know I stand with Allie Rose Coe and I'm proud of her and will celebrate her. All of you who are offended are mean girls. If her trademark impacts your small business that much, then you need to look internally, babes, and I stand 10 toes on that. If you're offended that she trademarked Hot Girls Read, then that shows your lack of business knowledge. What? She's handling it gracefully and not coming after any of you, which she could if she really wanted to and is now her right. Sincerely, a former small business owner. Unfollow as you see fit. I'll be unfollowing anyone who bashes her on this app. Bashing anyone, let alone a female small business owner, gives insecure, ugly, mean girl energy. I can't even, comment on this post because it actually makes no sense and is so hypocritical. So let's move on. This one is not exactly defending her, but it is giving her a lot of grace that I don't really think she deserves. Paperback Post said, look, I'm wildly against this Hot Girls Read trademark. Not only do I think this was an oversight to be allowed in the first place, but it's straight up wrong to trademark it and request other small businesses to remove products with the phrase while simultaneously selling unlicensed merch with the copyrighted IP of other artists. This is not okay. But, book community, she's still a person. The answer is not to destroy her and her entire business. People can make mistakes. Be kind. The book community for me has always been about that, community. It's building each other up, making room for everyone, supporting each other, cheering each other on. That's what makes it so special to be a part of. Obviously, this trademark is anything but those things, and I hope Allie Rose Coe sees that. But immediately tearing someone else down without giving them a chance doesn't feel like the book community either. I'll get into responses to this, but as I see it, people make mistakes, absolutely, but this was something she had over a year to change her mind on. She applied for this in 2024. She could have backed out. She knew what she was doing. She was clearly confident enough in what she was doing to make a whole celebration for herself. I mean, I don't think anyone but Allie is destroying Allie's business. So here are some of the comments. Natty Light Reed said it wasn't a mistake, it was a calculated decision that she actively and intentionally made. She was willing to step on several small businesses to trademark a phrase that has been around way before she decided to get into reading. She took a risk and that backfired because she alienated the group she was trying to sell to. Whatever losses she acquires from this are a direct result of her being greedy. Adding a "with love" to the end of a threatening statement doesn't negate the intentions behind it. The "with love," that's just killed me. Paperback Post replies, I definitely agree and totally get where you're coming from. Maybe mistake was not the right word because, as you said, this was clearly thought through. That being said, responding to her mean girl behavior with more mean girl behavior isn't right either. It's been less than 12 hours and jumping to trying to take her business name away from her feels like we've swung too far the other way. I hope the backlash and people speaking up makes her realize the error and correct it. Well, we know that didn't happen at all since I already read her statement doubling down on her position. Christina C. Reed says she spent a pretty penny and years working on getting the trademark, while simultaneously, the book community has shown that copywriting commonly used phrases is something they won't tolerate. Remember Blind Date with a Book. Then she posts a virtual threat to other small businesses and tries to make it cheeky? Honestly, I feel the scorched earth was warranted. And Mixtape Your Life says, I'm not a book girly, so I have no dog in the fight, but I am someone who spent the dollars and time to trademark both my logo and my name in several goods/service classes. So I'm familiar with the cost/time involved and the process. In my case, it was about $5,000 and took nearly 2 years from start to finish. For her to have made the deliberate choice to prioritize spending the money/time in trademarking the Hot Girls Read thing, but not her actual fucking business name or logo, is really fucking stupid. That was a deliberate choice. Yeah, I for sure see how trademarking her business name is petty as hell. But I also kind of feel like this falls under fuck around and find out. And here's something that actually makes me sad and frustrated. Before she became a reader in 2023 and started focusing her shop around books, she had super cute stuff in her shop. She has a BFA in graphic design. She's actually a very talented artist. Here's some of her work from before she started doing book stuff. Here's a bunch of stickers I think are very, very cute. Here is some of her hand lettering. Do literally whatever you want, just don't hurt people, which I thought was just funny. A little irony there of what's this current situation. I probably used irony wrong because I do just like everyone else, but nevertheless. Yeah, her hand lettering is really excellent, at least as far as my untrained eye, and I feel like she really started phoning it in once she started doing the Hot Girls Read thing, because like these are some examples of what she has now. I don't think this is hand lettering, but again, don't know for sure. This one I highly doubt it, because that's just like a font, I think. I'm not an artist, so who am I to say what is like low effort and what isn't, but she actually used to draw, and this to me does not look like anything exceptional. My theory is that once she started to become part of the online book community, she realized that we readers collectively love merch and are willing to spend money on it. So she took her shop in that direction and saw how easy it was to sell with her aesthetic website and her well-curated Instagram. And that's not inherently an issue. And again, just the way it looks to me. But the fact that she so drastically changed her work is not something that I think we should just brush aside. I really do think there is more to it than that. So, in absolutely no way am I defending Allie here, but there have been a few rumors going around that I think need to be cleared up. And it's honestly a little bit frustrating because there's plenty to criticize here without making stuff up. So, first of all, people have been saying that she's been messaging small business owners on Etsy to take down their listings, but I haven't seen a single person actually confirm she herself did this. This is what I have seen. So someone named Alyssa sent a message to someone that posted this. Hello, Hot Girls Read is now trademarked by Allie Rose Co. These listings should be removed. And then sent a link to a Etsy listing that says Hot Girls Read keychain. And this, again, was sent by someone named Alyssa, which Allie could be a nickname for, sure. But then we see this message. Hello, congrats on your trademark. I saw your post on social media. I'm hoping you can provide some clarification, as I see the trademark is only covered in class 16 and 25, which does not include keychains. I do have a bookmark listed, which I will remove to comply. Please let me know. Thanks and cheers. And then Alyssa replies, I'm sorry for the confusion, but it is not my company or a trademark. I was simply trying to spread the word as a loyal customer. I do believe you are correct and that keychains are not included. I'm sorry again. So this is very much not appropriate and not something that should be happening, but I don't think she's to blame for this happening unless there's something I'm missing. She has a pretty loyal following, so it doesn't surprise me that this is going on, but we need to stick to the facts. And I haven't seen a single person show proof that she's messaged them about it. And like I said, this is like absolutely monopolized my Threads feed for the past 2 days. So I feel like I would have seen it, you know? And again, there's a chance that I just missed it, but I really don't think I did. The other big thing I've seen is accusing her of being MAGA. So this post I saw this morning. So now that we know Allie is a Trumper, how much we want to bet on her defenders being Trumpers too. You know, all these tone policing white women who are on here telling everyone to be kind and she made a mistake and calling us mean girls. and then they don't have shit to say about the actual harm, colonizing, stealing, lying. Someone replied, a white woman who started reading 3 years ago from North Carolina, who never once spoke about any representation or made any kind of political post, and then tried to trademark something widely used by lots of people to monopolize it and shut out competitive small businesses. Of course she's MAGA. Luckily, there were some people that pushed back, but honestly, this is not something we need to be starting rumors about. Someone says, how do we know she's a Trumper? I mean, I'm all for calling her out on her BS, but I didn't see any Trump-related posts. And then this person screenshotted something from Allie that she posted January 20th, 2021 with a big 46, which is the number of president that Joe Biden was, feeling hopeful for the next 4. It's a good day. Another person commented, where did you see proof of that? I was trying to figure that out myself the first day, and this is all I could find on her social media, and there's 2 screenshots of things that she shared on Facebook. One of them is about Trump telling lies at the first presidential debate, and then the other is about Joe Biden being inaugurated. Someone else said, is she actually a Trumper? She was wrong for what she did, but the internet is so quick to be bad actor equals Trumper, and it's lazy and does the opposite of what you want. Now, I'm showing you a few of the comments that, like, asked for proof, but the majority of them were just talking about, like, how, of course she's MAGA. Guys, plenty of white liberals suck too. Being a shit person is not exclusive to MAGA, and there are plenty of posts on her Instagram showing that she's not MAGA. This one says, you're pro-life until the child is born gay, poor, sick, transgender, black, or an immigrant. This one says Black Lives Still Matters about a year after George Floyd. This one says protect your daughter, crossed out, and then says educate your son. We have little stickers that say vaccinated. And this last one, which was from November 2020, that says grab him by the ballot. Sorry for my little lecture. I just really need people to focus on what she's actually done wrong and the harm she's causing instead of making things up to make her look worse. She sucks, don't get me wrong, but it's not because she's MAGA. Moving on. One of the people heavily involved in the situation has actually already filed a petition to appeal the trademark ownership. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Feel free to pause if you would like to. It'll be up, on the screen. So, petitioner, and then the person's name, by and through this petition, seeks cancellation of U.S. trademark registration number 8130042 for the standard character mark Hot Girls Read, registered for goods including, upon information and belief, bookish merchandise, printed goods, stickers, bookmarks, notebooks, and apparel. Petitioner believes that she, her business, and similarly situated businesses in the bookish community are and will continue to be damaged by the continued registration of Hot Girls Read because the phrase is a common, widely used book community slogan that many individuals, readers, creators, authors, and small businesses have used descriptively, ornamentally, and culturally for years, including before registrant's claim date of first use. Skipping a little bit, the phrase Hot Girls Read is not distinctive of registrant. It is a commonplace phrase used broadly in the book community to convey a message that reading is attractive, desirable, culturally relevant, humorous, empowering, or part of a hot girl identity or aesthetic. Consumers encountering the phrase on stickers, bookmarks, shirts, sweatshirts, tote bags, signs, social media graphics, or similar goods do not understand the phrase as identifying one company as a source of the goods. Rather, consumers understand it as a decorative, expressive, and culturally familiar slogan. The term itself even comes from the Black community and has been widely used in various different online communities since then. Skipping a little bit, registrant's own use appears to be ornamental rather than source identifying. Upon information and belief, registrant's actual source identifying brand is Alley Rose Co., not Hot Girls Read. Hot Girls Read appears as a design or slogan placed on goods, while the business name, website, account name, packaging, product listings, or other branding identifies the actual source. That distinction matters because trademark law protects source identifiers, not decorative phrases placed on merchandise simply because consumers like the phrase. The registration should therefore be canceled because Hot Girls Read fails to function as a trademark. The phrase is widely used by many parties, conveys an ordinary and familiar message in the book community, and is not perceived by the relevant public as identifying registrant as the single source of the listed goods. Allowing one seller to monopolize this phrase would improperly remove common language from the marketplace and harm readers, authors, creators, and small businesses who have used or reasonably wish to use the phrase in its ordinary, ornamental, and expressive sense. The registration should also be canceled because the phrase is generic or at minimum merely descriptive, informational, and incapable of exclusive appropriation for the relevant goods. In the context of bookish merchandise, Hot Girls Read is understood as a common category of reader-themed expression and merch language. It describes or communicates the aesthetic sentiment or identity associated with the goods rather than identifying a single producer. The phrase is part of a larger pattern of commonly used hot girl slogans and bookish reader slogans, and consumers do not rely on the phrase alone to distinguish registrants' products from those of other sellers. I don't know why, I just keep like laughing at hot girls being said so many times in like a legal document. Anyways, here are like the counts, I guess. Failure to function as a trademark. Count 2, ornamental use. Count 3, genericness, commonplace use, and lack of distinctiveness. Count 4, fraud on the USPTO. Petitioner repeats and realleges the preceding paragraphs as though fully set forth herein. Upon information and belief, registrant or registrant's authorized representative made sworn statements to the USPTO claiming that Hot Girls Read was first used anywhere and first used in commerce on or about 2021. Those statements were material because they were submitted in support of registrant's application, allegation of use, statement of use, or registration, and because they concerned registrants' claimed use of the alleged mark in commerce for the identified goods. Petitioner has evidence indicating that those statements were false. Specifically, registrants' own social media posts, public updates, marketing statements, or other public communications indicate that registrant began creating or selling the Hot Girls Read design in or around 2023, not in 2021. Petitioner's evidence includes screenshots of registrant statements, dated social media posts, product announcements, and other materials that appear to contradict the sworn first use dates submitted to the USPTO. I don't know if I clarified that 100% earlier, that was on her submission, that this was first used by anyone in 2021. I might have said it before, I'm not 100% sure, but that's where that part is coming from. Upon information and belief, registrant knew the claim date was false at the time it was submitted because registrant would have known when she created, offered, sold, or transported the goods bearing the phrase. A party's own product launch records, social media history, sales history, shop records, and marketing statements are facts within that party's knowledge and control. If registrant publicly stated that the design began in 2023, while also representing to the USPTO that the mark was first used in commerce in 2021, those inconsistent statements support an inference that the USPTO filing contained a knowingly false representation. Scooting forward just a little. Evidence supporting cancellation. Petitioner intends to rely on documentary evidence including but not limited to the following exhibits. Exhibit A is a copy of the USPTO registration record for Hot Girls Read, including the registration number, owner information, identified goods, filing basis, claimed first use dates, specimens, and prosecution history. Exhibit B consists of screenshots or records showing third-party use of Hot Girls Read before registrants claimed first use date, including use by businesses, sellers, readers, creators, and companies in the bookish marketplace. Exhibit C consists of examples of third-party use of Hot Girls Read on the same or closely related goods, including stickers, bookmarks, apparel, totes, signs, and other reader-themed merchandise. Exhibit D consists of screenshots from Etsy, social media, marketplace listings, archive websites, or other sources showing that multiple unrelated sellers used Hot Girls Read in a decorative, expressive, or ornamental manner. Exhibit E consists of registrants' own public statements, social media posts, product launch posts, or shop updates indicating that registrant began creating, selling, or promoting the Hot Girls Read design in or around 2023, despite claiming first use in 2021 in USPTO filings. Exhibit F consists of examples showing registrants' use of Hot Girls Read as ornamentation on products, while a separate business name, shop name, logo, or account identifies the actual source of the goods. Exhibit G consists of statements, screenshots, declarations, or supporting materials from bookish businesses and creators who have used the phrase, seen the phrase used broadly, or have been chilled or harmed by the registration. And then we just have like the conclusion and like the legal stuff to close it out. Pretty solid case in my unprofessional opinion. Now, this entire situation took me back to April when a company called Ivory Chapters tried to trademark blind date with a book. I actually had screenshots from back then I never did anything with because it just didn't get big enough. And as of now, this trademark is still pending and hopefully it won't go through. So this is where I first saw this back then. Be so serious right now. Ivory Chapters LLC is trying to trademark blind date with a book. Like, what? We've all been buying and selling these for years. They didn't come from one company. USPTO needs to cancel this ASAP. Bookstores and book community, this is your heads up. Spread the word. Let's get this taken down. And then she posted whatever it's called from the USPTO website, blind date with a book. It's pending. From Ivory Chapters LLC. Someone commented on that. Bookishly vintage. Oh, this isn't going to go well for them. But also, I just went to their site, and the first thing I see is a book wrapped up with 2 AliExpress stickers, and they also have other AliExpress stuff available on their website. It certainly does appear to be not original, you know, handmade stuff. We have like a neon sign that says read more books, a blanket that says just one more chapter, transparent sticky notes, a tote bag, scented candle, acrylic book face, like, and all of these are very much like images that look like they came from AliExpress. There has been a letter of protest filed against this by the American Booksellers Association, but only a few weeks ago, so we will see where it goes. But it says, upon consideration of an LOP filed before publication of this mark, it has been determined that some of the evidence is relevant to the following grounds for refusal and/or requirement. Widely used message fails to function as a mark under sections 1, 2, and 45. The attached evidence has been included in the record for your consideration. Please review and determine whether to issue a refusal or make a requirement. And then list some kind of statute or something. And then on the next page there is a picture of blind date with a book. I think at the Strand bookstore in Manhattan. I wish that more pictures and examples had been like provided here, but honestly, I can't imagine this gets approved. Companies like Barnes & Noble and Target have been doing this for a while, and big corporations like that have the money to fight whatever they need to. This is actually hilarious. This is from the application. Goods and services. This is what they were trying to get approved. And the part I'm looking at is where it says first use anywhere, March 4th, 2026. First use in commerce, March 4th, 2026. Are you kidding me? That's actually even more asinine than Hot Girls Read not being used till 2021. Like, that's funny. Anyways, Ivory Chapters basically had the same claim as Ali as far as motivation to file the trademark. So this is a reply to Tina's post that I just read. They said, "Hi Tina, totally understand the concern. We would feel the same way in your shoes. Just to clarify, our application is to protect our own usage. Anyone can apply for a trademark. It's not to stop other small businesses." Really? That would go against our values. This community is the reason we even exist. It would be counterintuitive if we stopped others from talking about / selling blind dates with books, since people would just stop being interested in them. This trademark was already registered and active for the last 10 years or so, until recently. We don't intend to change anything with this application. You're free to use the phrase and sell / buy them exactly as before. From one small business to another, we support your right to voice concerns and would never wish anything but success for your endeavors. However, it's unfortunate to see you've urged your following to attack us with negative reviews. Happy to clarify anything, just message us. It's literally like, we're trademarking this so no one else can, which is just like such a dumb reasoning for something, especially that costs so much money to do. And saying that you don't plan to take legal action makes this entire thing pointless. Not exactly relevant, but they also made like little AI ads, so yeah, that's gross. Again, as of now, it hasn't even been assigned an examining attorney, which I'm almost positive means that it hasn't even been reviewed yet. So hopefully a lot of people are sending in letters of protest to keep it from being approved. Another insane trademark that's pending is Book Boyfriend by a company called Spicy Snacks. Author Sabrina Cross said, "No, because actually, what the fuck is wrong with people?" And then someone named Liz Lincoln Author had posted a screenshot of that same little thing. I don't know what it's called, and I can't think of a word to use, for Book Boyfriend. And this one is also pending. So Spicy Snacks is a mobile app serving bite-sized fiction you can read in under 2 minutes a pop. Blush-inducing fast fiction with heart. So yeah, it's like very, very short stories that are spicy. Now, according to their website, they own trademarks for Spicy Snacks, Book Boyfriend, and Spicy Trail. But the USPTO website says otherwise. These all three say pending. So why this company feels they need to trademark Book Boyfriend is really beyond me, but even if it does happen to get approved, this is the only category it's would be registered in is IC041, providing online non-downloadable electronic publications in the nature of ebooks in the field of romance fiction. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the OG frivolous trademark case in the book community. I was not around at the time in this community, but even I know lots about Cockygate. So I'm going to let someone else explain that was there. Cockygate and Hot Girls Read. As someone who was intimately involved with the Romance World trademark dispute of 2018, let me tell you how we handled it. Felina Hopkins, who wrote the now infamous Cocker Brothers series, trademarked the word cocky. She then proceeded to send out her cease and desist orders, one to my friend, the great Nana Malone. As you can imagine, this is very upsetting. Her letters went out to many other authors in different subgenres. Some had used cocky in the title. Some had used cocky in the series name. As an aside, one cannot copyright titles, but one can copyright series names. Copyright has nothing to do with trademark. We were not sure if Felina knew the difference because she had gone and changed her series name from the Cocker Brothers to the Cocky Brothers. That is a tale for another time. Sticking with trademark, we endeavored to bring this to court. We created an anthology of original stories by 38 authors. It would be available for a limited time, and proceeds would go to the legal fees of anyone who had to hire lawyers. Then we forced her to defend her trademark by doing the following. Title, Cocktails, Author, The Cocky Collective. Tag, Taking Cockiness to a Whole New Level. Cover image, a rooster whose color fill was the word cocky repeatedly. Our intention was to make sure that we engaged in a trademark dispute, so we used the word mark repeatedly. I designed the cover. Side note, she had also trademarked the logo image, which was in Northwell font. Set Sail Studios' license agreement stated that their fonts were not to be used for logos, so we made sure to use Northwell font on our cover. You really want to get defiant oppositional types in on a project like this. Anyway, we promoted the fuck out of it starting in mid-April 2018. You could not miss this thing if you tried. It released on May 26, 2018. Felina sued Jen Watson, the PR person in charge of the campaign, and Tara Crescent, who used the word cocky in titles, and Kevin Nooper, a vocal lawyer, but not Penny Reed, who published the anthology. Venue was New York City. Those few days in court were an absolute delight as the judge tried to figure out what the word cocky meant to the romance community. Meanwhile, the Authors Guild and the RWA were trying to get the trademark revoked. On June 1st, they were successful and the Cocktails case was dropped. They get all the credit, which is fine. Just don't forget that it was the efforts of regular people that put pressure on this trademark. At the time, Felina had a net worth statement on some website for famous people stating that she had millions of dollars. We thought she had massive resources and were truly afraid this would drag on. It was only because we came together as a community that we had the courage to force her to sue. It's turns out that she was a little delusional and kind of sad. So there's just a little bit of lore for you. The last thing that I want to say on this for now is that if you have items with this saying for sale, I don't think you should remove them from your website. From what I've heard, Etsy is a different story and your shop can be put in jeopardy if a trademark holder reports you. But if it's just you selling on another platform, Ally will have to go through the proper legal channels to stop you. This means sending a cease and desist, and if you don't respond or fight back, she'll have to file a lawsuit, which is time-consuming and expensive. I was recently sent a cease and desist by someone I made a video about. I hired a lawyer to respond, and that's the last I've heard of it, because even though I think I'm totally in the right, I had nothing to fear, she probably didn't want to worry about that. She probably didn't want to spend a whole lot of money when there wasn't really a case. Anyways, suing someone is costly and just a whole big ordeal. And additionally, she more or less said she didn't plan to go after anyone for using it in this story. So again, I really don't understand the purpose of any of this, but I digress. To be crystal clear, That is not me giving you legal advice. I am not a lawyer. But from my understanding of trademark law, you really don't need to do anything unless she files a suit. Hopefully the appeals work and the approval gets overturned, but if that happens, I will be sure to update. So, today's indie author feature is Jess Galaxy, a non-binary indie author based in the Chicagoland area. A self-proclaimed big nerd. They spend a lot of their time preparing for Ren fairs and Dungeons and Dragons games. They have been publishing since 2023 and are currently working on their 4th book while attending as many book events as they possibly can. Outside of their writing and work, they are a proud bunny parent and love to sew. So they have 3 books out currently, but I want to tell you about How to Juggle Ballads and Blades, which is their most recent book. It's a contemporary rom-com about Renaissance fair performers. They use the tagline, silly, sapphic, and romantic for this one because it is, and it seriously sounds so cute. Chico and her best friend Elijah have finally landed their first season at a Renaissance fair with their show, The Jester and Bard Forever at Odds. But Chico is quickly discovering there's more to surviving their first Ren fair than beating the heat. When her new friend Liza asks Chico to take her place as Wee in the incredibly popular The Pirates Big, Middle, and Wee show, Chico jumps on the opportunity without thinking. Chico wants to help her friend, especially if it means making her and Elijah look better the next time they apply to perform at a big fair. There's just one detail that Chico neglected to think about. Monty, Liza's younger sister, who is both a major distraction and doesn't seem to like Chico very much. Chico decides to push through for Liza's sake, even if it means Chico has to spend countless hours in Monty's arms as they prepare and perform. Worse, as Chico tries to keep her crush in check, Monty suddenly drops the surly attitude and starts actively flirting with Chico. Adding a show to her roster shouldn't be so complicated, but Chico's caught between not knowing what state she'll be living in after Albion's season finishes and Monty's strong hands. At this rate, Chico's going to melt before the season is over and not from the heat of the sun. Down in the description will be a link to purchase Jess's book along with their social media links. Indie authors are a vital part of the bookish community, so try to support them wherever you can, even if that's just a follow on social media. And if you would like the chance to be a featured indie author, there is a form down in the description. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. Check out my Bindery page if you would like to support me over there. And thank you once again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!